I'm going to show you how to start a track in Ableton. Um, as most of you know, my subscribers and followers, I have been a um, avid Logic user for about 20 years, since Logic 2. And I love Logic. I still use it for a lot of things. But as of recent, in the last couple of years, I've been adding Ableton more and more into my productions. And as a matter of fact, as of now, it's my primary production tool. So I know it inside and outside, and it is an amazing tool. At first, I didn't get it, but when I spent enough time working with it and figuring out the sound and trying to kind of compare and kind of make it work similarly to what I was used to with Logic and other programs, it really has become my favorite program to use. And I've done a ton of hit remixes and productions along with my partner Mike Rizzo in the past couple of years, and we do everything pretty much in Ableton at this point, minus live recordings, things that we need to use a lot of tracks, sessions that we have a lot of tracks on. I don't like to record in Ableton just because it feels a little claustrophobic using a lot of audio recording tracks. So I still do a lot of that in Logic, and then I will dump the final mix comps into Ableton and then build our productions in Ableton. So real quick, I'm just going to do a very simple tutorial here. And it's basically just going to show you how I build a track very quickly. So you have two screens. Using the tab button here, you go into the mixer window, and then there's the arrange window. I use the arrange window 99.9% of the time. It's very comparable to a traditional DAW, and the timeline runs from left to right, and you can see your bars all laid out, and you can see your waveforms lined up, and that's the way I like to work. So this is not going to be complex. This is not going to be something that's going to knock your socks off, but I'm going to basically use a lot of drag and drop, some loops, show you how things lock up really nicely, and that's really it. This is a quick tutorial. We'll get more in depth in some later tutorials. It's been a while since I've done one, so let's just get the ball rolling here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to choose an audio track here. So I'm just going to move down to where it says Audio 3 here, and then I'm going to hit Command and Option and B, and that's going to open my browser on the left. Command Option B, and I'm going to close the loop box down here. I'll explain that later. But Command Option L closes that, gives me a little bit more screen space, and I'm going to go into my library. I have my hard drive connected to this with my sound library. On the left here, you can basically import your library so that the folders show up every time that you connect your hard drive. So like I have libraries here from Native Instruments that are separate, and then I have libraries, Ableton's libraries, and then I have full folders with all my sample libraries here. I call it Electronic Library. So a company that I like a lot is called Freaky Loops. If you haven't used them yet, look them up. Famous Audio and Freaky Loops. They're out of Turkey. Their loops and samples are top notch. I use them for so much. But what I'm going to do right now is just make a simple, let's do like a simple EDM beat. I'm going to go up here, top left, double click in the tempo box and change it to 130, which is like an average standard tempo at this point for EDM and dance. And I'm going to scroll down here to, actually I'm not going to use Freaky Loops for this. I'm going to go into my Mac Share library, and I'm going to grab, actually I'm going to go into my Apple library. I imported my Logic library into Ableton, and I'm going to just grab I'm going to try a couple loops here. We're going to audition them. So what I want to do is, since I'm going to be adding beats first, I'm going to go up here to the search box and just write beat, and it's going to now categorize my loops as just the beat samples, just the beat loops. So I can start playing them, click on them. Let me take my headphones out here. Okay, when I click on each loop, they'll play. That's cool. I use my arrow up and down buttons here to scroll through. Scroll through so I find something that I like. It's kind of cool. It's very simple. I like the beginning of this beat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it in and I'm going to show you how fast we can edit that to just use the pieces that we like. So drag this into bar 1. It actually automatically is locked up. So like our tempo is 130. I don't even know what the original tempo of that beat is, but I'm going to double click it, and it's going to open up the loop browser at the bottom, the same browser that I closed before. When I go over here down to the bottom left, the warp button is on, which means that it's automatically, the loops in the browser are automatically adapting to the session tempo, which is 130. And it actually tells you the sequence's original tempo down here is 120. So it warped it from 120 to 130. So I hit spacebar, play the loop. So I'm going to go Command Option L, close that, and I'm going to take just the first couple beats and I'm going to loop them. So go to the beginning, click the beginning here. That's all I want was that kick and clap. I'm going to place the cursor right over the area I want to chop, and I'm going to hit Command E, and that chops. Get rid of the rest of this, just simply Command X like anything else, and now highlight this loop, hit Command D, and we're just going to loop it. So I'm just going to let it just keep going. Remember, this is not about how fantastic of a track I can make in Ableton. This is just showing you how to throw things together quickly. You can be creative the way you want to be creative, and you know, later on down the line, I will do an in-depth tutorial on some of our big remixes that we've had out this year. We had a #1 remix with Lord, with Royals. We did a bunch of tracks for Cher. Just a lot of records. A Pitbull remix that did really well. And I'll actually open those sessions up and show you how everything was, you know, put together. Recently, we did T.I. and Iggy Azalea. We did Little John, Bendova, featuring Tyga. So I have a lot of great tracks to show you the inner workings of. All right, anyway, go back here, hit this arrow back at the top here, and go back to the beginning. Hit the space bar. Cool, that's cool. I like that. All right, so what I'm going to do is, that's actually more like a kick clap, but I want to get rid of the kick. So I'm going to go up to Audio Effects, top left, Audio Effects in your browser. First of all, let's X out the search box where it says beat. So when we go and look for an audio effect, it won't discriminate against other effects that don't have the word beat in them. So let's click on Audio Effects, and I'm going to grab an EQ8. And that's just a simple EQ. I'm going to drag and drop it right onto the audio file. And now I'm going to go to the bottom to the loop browser and the effect browser. And not browser, the box down here where the effects actually show up once you drag and drop them. I am going to go to the low cut, which is the first EQ curve to the left. And I'm going to click on the low cut times 4, all 4 octaves gone. Roll this off. The kick should be gone now. There we go. Roll the frequency up till there's just very little kick left in that kick. Because what I'm going to do is add my own kick. So now I'm going to label this by just highlighting it, then hitting Command R. And we're going to call it Loop 1. Go to the next audio track. Let's name this Kick, because I'm going to throw a kick right underneath this. Go back to the left side browser, scroll down to your library. You know, you can even use Ableton's library, which, you know, you would just click on instruments here, either open up a drum rack. I have some drums in there too. So we could do some MIDI actually with this if we wanted to. So I can drag and drop kicks from my drum rack here that I've already made and imported as MIDI instruments. We can do that real quick. So I'm going to grab Lucid Kicks from my Native Instruments Lucid Mission library from Machine and drop it on a MIDI track. All right, cool. So we're going to add a kick to this pattern as MIDI. Originally I said we would just do audio and take the easy way out, but I actually wanted to show you how to you know, open up a MIDI instrument as well. So go back to the beginning here. I'm going to hit F9, which is record. Make a blank pattern here. That's it. Double click the blank pattern. Hit this little headphone button here so you can hear the samples that are on the keyboard. I'm just going to pick really any kick. At this point, it doesn't really matter. All right, we're going to draw kicks in on the quarter notes. So I'm going to press B, which brings up the little pencil, and I'm just going to click a kick. Let me see where we have one. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. Hit B again, close it out. Command Option, close that. Now go here, and we're going to make sure that the this loop that we just made is an even length. So as we are clicking the ends of it, you'll see this little bracket come up. And you're going to move this until the indicator at the bottom left of your screen shows an even amount of bars. So down here, as you're highlighting here, you will see that it says Lucid Kick. For me, it would say that end 311, length 200. That's 2 bars. It's exactly 2 bars. I am now going to duplicate that kick out so that it matches the end of the kick and clap loop. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to hit Command D until we reach the end. Cool. So now I'm going to grab this loop bar at the top of the screen here. I'm going to click it once till it turns black, and then I'm going to drag the left side all the way left and the right side all the way right. We actually have 15 bars here, so I want to get rid of that. I'm going to actually make it 8 bars. I'm going to move the loop bracket here, highlight it, and everything outside of there I'm going to just grab and Command X, get rid of it, delete it. So as we play this, we have 8 bars of kick and loop. Cool. I'm going to go to another audio track, and I'm going to label it bass, and I'm going to grab a bass loop, just a simple bass loop from my library. I'll go into the Freaky Loops library that I was telling you about at the beginning. I have a lot of their stuff. It's great quality, seems to work well, very creative, and they have something for pretty much every genre. Now, I don't always use the loops just as is. I will chop them up, cut them up, run them through some different things, but there are occasions where I leave them as is, and that's okay. Let somebody else be the sound designer. You be the composer. They are badass, these guys. I'm gonna grab this pulsating bass and see what it does. All right, so I just literally just dragged and dropped it in. It automatically stretched from 128 to where we are right now at 130. Click it, Command D to duplicate it 4 times, go back to the beginning, and here an 8-bar pattern with kick, kick, clap, loop, and bass. Pretty cool. All right, cool. We're going to add one more thing, and then I'm going to wrap this particular tutorial up because this is just a basics, getting into Ableton tutorial. So I'm going to create a another audio track by going Command T, and we will call this synth. And I will now look for some synth loops. Now, I actually play keys, I play different instruments, so at some point I'll actually just play a bunch of things, but just to keep this, keep this short, it's easier for me to just grab some things and show you how we can easily throw some things together. Even if the keys and the bass aren't in the same key, I'll show you how we can pitch them up and make them work. Let's see what we have here. Maybe we can even use that with the bass because it actually is the same key. Let's see what that sounds like. Drag that in, and let's go. Let's loop that. The only thing I don't like is that first note coming in off beat like that. So I am going to actually edit that really quick. I'm going to highlight the area behind that piece of the loop that I don't like, the synth loop right here. And I'm going to hit Command E, and that's going to cut the back of it. And I'm going to do the same thing to the front, but I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can get it as close to one of these little beat marker lines. So now I'm going to hit Command E. I found the line that's closest to the beginning, so I can get rid of all this junk, and I can move this this synth line right to the very beginning. So it's right on the one. Pretty cool. And I don't like that either. So let's add this here, get rid of that. Add a little reverb to it, maybe a little delay right here in my reverb and delay sends to the right here. These two white boxes to the right in your, right underneath your volume and your panning, where it says -INF, which means infinity. The first one is inherently reverb. The second one is delay. Ableton just sets it up like that for you. So it's right over here. Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to click this bracket here at the top and I'm going to hit the loop button, and I'm going to press play, and it's going to continue to loop. I'm going to throw a little bit of a pre-master effect on here just to make it loud and tight and in your face. So we scroll down to the master output down at the bottom and double click it. Go up here to your audio effects. Go to the audio effect rack, and there's some great presets here. I'm going to scroll down to mixing and mastering, hit the arrow here, and I am going to grab, I don't know, let's just grab Punchy Dance Master. Punchy Dance Master. Say that 10 times fast. Punchy Dance Master, Punchy Dance Master, Punchy, I can't do it. Anyway, throw this on the master bus. And I also like to throw a utility plugin right before that. Utility is basically just a volume knob. And I'm going to attenuate the volume going into that chain to make sure there's no distortion. So when that utility plugin is off before the master chain, it may hit the red. Yeah, it's hitting the red down there. Just a little bit. So if I turn on the utility and bring the gain down just a little bit, we'll keep it out of the red. I like to bring the limiter gain up here too in the chain. If you look at the glue compressor in that chain, as the track is playing, it's there's a gain reduction of almost 4 dB, which is too much for me. I'm going to reduce the compressor's threshold, which is at -20 decibels right now. I'm just going to reduce it a little bit. I really just want the track tamed a little bit, so I want it to move about -1, -2. There we go. And the limiter ceiling is at -0.3. I'm gonna just change it to -0.1. Give it a little bit more of an output. -0.1. There we go. And that is it. This is Mig, Multiplatinum Producer, www.maxbeats.com, MAXXBEATS.com, and I will see you next time. Peace.